To surprise my girlfriend Willow for her birthday, I set up a live stream and hid inside my car, planning to propose to her right then and there to give her an unforgettable, romantic moment and let all our friends and family witness our happiness. But just seconds later, the car door opened and my breath caught in my throat. Willow, breathless, was pushed into the seat by another man. The car started rocking violently. I was so shocked, I didn't even dare to breathe. That moment, I wished I had hidden under the car, not inside it, because the live stream was already broadcasting everything. I was curled up inside the trunk of my SUV, holding a bottle of champagne, waiting to surprise Willow for her birthday. As she came closer, I suddenly heard two voices. Confused, I listened, then froze in place as I watched her being pinned against the window, gasping over and over again. I should have hidden under the car, not been stuck inside, witnessing just how wild they were getting. And the worst part? Today was the day I planned to propose to her. I had started a live stream hoping all our friends and family would witness the joy. Right now, they were watching this. Willow and I even locked eyes for a second, but she couldn't see me behind the dark car tint. Then she giggled and told the guy, "Let's go to the car." I panicked. If she really got in, the camera would record everything. It was set up perfectly for the surprise, the other kind of surprise. I called her desperately. She picked up, saw my name, and quickly said, "I'm in a meeting, can't talk right now." Then she hung up before I could say a word and turned her phone off. The car door clicked open. The two of them climbed in, still kissing like nothing else existed. He shoved her onto the seat, completely absorbed in her. It was over. The whole thing was caught live on stream. Back in the trunk, I just lay there numb. Today was her birthday. I had planned everything. She'd come down, I'd open the trunk. You know, like those trendy videos, roses, gifts, me kneeling beside the flowers holding a ring. It should have been the perfect moment. The camera was even angled just right, ready to capture her shocked, tearful happiness. At home, our friends and family were all waiting, ready to burst confetti poppers. Now they were watching Willow's clothes being peeled off by some random guy. That bastard even smirked and said, "Why didn't you answer your boyfriend's call?" Willow kissed him and said playfully, "I'm not scared. If you want to play the phone call game, I'll call him right now." The guy laughed, pressed her down into the seat, and replied, "You're something else." Willow giggled. "If we're going for thrills, might as well go all the way." They were already tangled in the back seat, completely unaware I was just a few feet away, hiding in the trunk. I awkwardly unlocked my phone and stared at the live stream. Yup, still going. The stream had a password. Only those with the code could watch, friends and family. But now, over 100 people were online. I don't even have that many friends. Clearly, someone had shared the link. There were over 100 silent viewers, not a single comment. I could picture everyone sitting at home, holding cakes and confetti, watching this chaos in stunned silence. What broke me was seeing one user repeatedly sending me virtual gifts. It was Willow's mother, my future mother-in-law. She probably didn't understand how the app worked. Each gift triggered a flashy effect that temporarily covered the video. She must have thought she was helping, trying to hide the shameful scene. She didn't know you could clear the screen with one tap. She just kept burning through her retirement fund to protect her daughter's dignity, but I couldn't even stop the live stream. It was running on the car's infotainment system. To end it, I had to access the main display, right in front of those two. That's when the guy finally noticed something was off. He looked around and asked, "Wait a minute, why is the car running?" Willow smiled. "My boyfriend's car can turn on the AC remotely. I started it before coming down. Didn't want you to feel too hot." He laughed. "Damn, even his cheap 100,000 RMB domestic car has that. My 1.3 million Porsche doesn't even have it." Willow cupped his face and kissed him again. "That's why you're in his cheap little car, having sex with his girlfriend," she whispered. Her words fired him up even more. He started tearing at her clothes, bit her ear and growled, "You're something else. He lets you drive his car while he takes the subway every day. And you still say naughty stuff like this to me?" Willow moaned. "Yeah, I'm a bad girl. Hearing you say things like that turns me on even more. He's my simp, but I'm your simp." And then the weirdest moment ever, he started singing. Seriously. While kissing her neck, he sang, "The one who loves me is madly devoted, but I cry for the one I love, heartbroken, falling apart." Willow laughed while kissing him back. "That's right, baby. Just like your song. I just lay there thinking, what is this? Who sings during sex? Maybe it was their idea of fun. Maybe that's how Porsche guys get girls to laugh. Whatever it was humiliating, and it was still being live streamed. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to say something. This was my account. If it crossed into adult content, I could actually be in legal trouble. So I coughed. They both jolted up, stunned. Willow looked around and saw me. She froze. Her face turned pale. She stammered, "Aren't you supposed to be at work?" I said quietly, "Today's your birthday. I took the afternoon off to surprise you." How pathetic. I had requested leave, prepared everything, and this is what I got in return. But weirdly, I wasn't angry, not even a little, because I've always believed this: if you're not married, you're just dating someone else's future spouse. And to me, Willow had already become someone else's wife. I glanced back at my phone. The live stream now had over 1,000 viewers, and it was password protected. What did that mean? It meant this had spread far beyond just friends, classmates, co-workers, relatives. Everyone who had been invited to the proposal had now tuned in for the drama. Then, as if things couldn't get worse, the parking garage elevator opened. A crowd stepped out, phones raised, not heading for their cars, but us. Clearly, they had come down to watch the show in person. Willow saw them and whispered to me, "Please, don't argue with me right now. My co-workers are outside. Don't embarrass me." I stared at her and said, "You still care about your pride?" She replied coldly, "Well, since you found out, there's no point pretending anymore. Let's break up. I think I deserve someone better." I asked, "How have I wronged you?" She got dressed, climbed into the driver's seat, started the car, and said without looking back, "You've been great. I won't deny that, but I still believe I deserve better. Once a woman has ridden in a Porsche, she doesn't go back to a cheap ride like this." The guy awkwardly buttoned up beside her, and that's when I saw it. He had a wedding ring on his left hand. I pointed at it. This is your definition of better?" Willow just said flatly, "If you knew he gives me 20,000 yuans a month, would you still ask that?" I stood there, shocked. Online, 20,000 might not sound like much, but in real life, for us, it's a lot. My own salary is just over 6,000 yuans. Even this car barely over 100K I bought on a loan. The guy finished getting dressed, looked at me, and said, "Brother, I get it. Just name your price. I'll pay you. Just don't spread this around." I looked him dead in the eyes and said, "You're trying to pay me to keep quiet?" "Not paying you to keep quiet, you have to keep quiet." At that moment, Willow parked the car near her company building. Right next to us was a Porsche, clearly parked in a spot marked, "Reserved space, no parking." It was obviously a space meant for company executives. Willow turned to me and warned, "I'm telling you, don't even think about spreading this out of revenge. He's a vice president, transferred from headquarters. He's got money and powerful connections. He's someone you really can't afford to mess with." I froze. Not because I was scared of this so-called VP's background, but because a bunch of her co-workers had also seen the live stream. Some had even snuck down to watch it live with their phones out. And with how high the viewer count had gotten, I was willing to bet the main office had seen it too. There was no way that VP could keep his job. Even if I stayed quiet, word would eventually reach his wife. In fact, she might have already been in the live stream. Come on, she's the VP's wife. With that many employees, how would she not get the link from someone? Sure enough, right then his phone started ringing. He looked at it, caller ID said, "Wife." He declined it fast, then quickly sent the auto text, "I'm busy. I'll contact you later." But just as he put the phone down, another call came in, this time from chairman. He froze. Clearly didn't dare ignore a call from the company's chairman. He hesitated. Willow, now looking a little uneasy, said, "You probably should answer the chairman's call. Maybe it's something important." The guy stared at me, his eyes full of tension, then gritted his teeth and said, "Forget it. I can't risk it. I don't trust what he might say." He declined that call too, using the same quick reply message. And no doubt about it, his wife and the chairman were both watching the live stream. He quickly powered off his phone and said, "I'll just call them back later and say my phone died, that I just plugged it in." Willow nodded. "That works. That sounds believable." I sighed. He really shouldn't have turned it off. If he'd left it on, someone might have sent him a warning message. But watching Willow worry that much for him, I felt something rise in my chest. Something sharp and indescribable. She got out of the car, walked around to the back, and opened the trunk. Right then, the balloons and flowers I had prepared were suddenly right in front of her. So awkward. Originally, the camera was supposed to capture her joy, her shock, and happiness, but now, her face was just cold, empty, which made sense. We had already completely fallen apart. She looked at me and said flatly, "Fine. It's my fault. Take back your flowers and gifts. Let's just make things clear. Name your price. How much do you want to keep this a secret?" I opened my mouth bitterly. "Do you really think I'm the kind of person who'd blackmail someone over this?" She replied, "I just want safety. He signed a prenup, and I can't ruin him financially." I looked at the other man, the homewrecker. His wife was probably already on her way to the courthouse. I asked Willow, "I've taken care of you all these years. When you were doing everything to protect him, did you ever once think about how I felt?" She responded impatiently, "You already caught me cheating. Why would I still need to care about your feelings? Can you be a little more realistic?" I let out a deep sigh. She was right. At this point, we didn't need to care about each other's feelings anymore. There was no way I'd ask for money. If they called the police, it would be considered extortion. And I've lived an honest life. I'd never break the law. Besides, even if I did keep quiet, what would it matter? Everyone already knew. I said, "I don't want money. I won't say a word. Let's just break up. I'll return the engagement ring." Willow looked surprised. "Didn't expect you to be this cooperative. I thought you'd cling on and refuse to let go. Since we're breaking up, let's do it cleanly. Let's go back and pack up our stuff. I'll move out of your place," I said instinctively. "I'll pack your things for you. You don't need to come upstairs." Honestly, I was thinking about her safety. Our friends and family were still upstairs, some awkward, some furious. If she walked back in with that guy, it could cause a huge fight. Might even get her beaten to death. And no matter what, we had once loved each other. I didn't want to imagine what could happen if she walked through that door, but she didn't get it, didn't appreciate it. She snapped, "No, I have to go back. He gave me cash, and I hid it. I want to take it with me." I said, "You can tell me where the money is. I'll bring it down to you." The homewrecker suddenly sneered. "You think we're that dumb?" Willow was startled. "Why can't he help?" The guy replied, "You think he doesn't want hush money because he has morals? No, he's just scared to leave a record of a money transfer. That way, we can't report him for blackmail." She paused, then slowly said, "I get it now. You gave me all cash. If he takes the money and I report it, I wouldn't even be able to tell the police how much was stolen. It'd drag you into it too." The guy nodded in approval. "You're smart." She suddenly turned on me, furious. "So that's why you were being so nice. You're the one playing dirty. I should have known poor men are the most calculating. I almost fell for it." Then she looked at him, eyes full of admiration and gratitude, and said, "Thank God you were here. No wonder you're a VP. You really are sharp." Only then did I understand that saying, "Sincerity is the most lethal weapon." I had been sincere this whole time. But here they were, spinning wild conspiracy theories, and the worst part, they were disturbingly believable. Even I nearly believed them. Just as I was about to explain the Livestream situation, the homewrecker pointed a finger at my face and said seriously, "Remember, you said you don't want money. But if you dare say a word about this, guess what I'll do?" I asked quietly, "What will you do?" He said, "Sure, I'll lose everything in the divorce. But trust me, before that, I'll set aside hundreds of thousands, and I'll hire someone to break your arms and legs. One arm costs $200,000. There are plenty of people out there who'll do it." I was stunned. I never thought he'd actually threaten me, say he'd pay to cripple me, but the most important part, it was all on camera. Over 1,000 people could testify. This guy wasn't just losing his wife, he'd be looking at jail time too. I sat there, silent, processing everything. But Willow mistook my silence for disbelief. She sneered and said, "You'd better listen to him. Last month, a janitor at our company saw us. She tried to blackmail us, and then she got into a car accident. You think that was a coincidence?" In that instant, I was completely stunned. Thousands were watching the live stream, and she just admitted that. If what she said was true, that guy could rot in prison. He looked at me and said calmly, "That kind of coincidence could happen to you too." Then he got out of the car. I watched him open the Porsche door like a gentleman and help Willow into the passenger seat. Suddenly, he pulled 2 bundles of cash from the Porsche and tossed them into my trunk. He said, I'm a man who uses both kindness and pressure. Here's 20,000 yuan, call it emotional damages. As long as you keep your mouth shut, nothing will happen to you. I'll escort her back to pack her things." Then he got in the Porsche and started the engine. I had initially wanted to warn them, but now I didn't care anymore. I meant well, but they'd already threatened me. So be it. If they end up beaten to death, so be it. After all, it wouldn't be my family who'd lay a hand on them. It would be hers, the ones they humiliated. The Porsche was fast, but it was still city traffic, so we drove side by side for a while. A T1 red light. I looked over and saw Willow throw herself into his arms, kissing him passionately. Completely unconcerned, I was right there, as if breaking up with me had lifted a weight off her shoulders. I couldn't stand the atmosphere, but I still had to follow them home. To my surprise, the incident had already spread far and wide. Downstairs, outside our building, a crowd of neighbors had gathered. As soon as we got out of the car, all eyes were on us. Some people even pulled out their phones to confirm it was really us. Others were upstairs, peeking from their windows. There was no doubt in my mind that someone had already shared the live stream in our building's group chat. My girlfriend stepped out of the Porsche. Seeing all the attention, the whispers, the cameras, she actually looked proud. Turning to me with a smug smile, she said, "See that? Do you know what they're filming? This is what it means to step out of a luxury car. Beauty, money, and attention. This is the life I deserve." I no longer felt anything for her. Coldly, I replied, "They're just watching a pair of shameless cheaters. They're watching a circus act." She wasn't even angry. Instead, she smiled. "So now that your little scheme failed, you're just lashing out like a dog backed into a corner. I knew it, you were trying to steal my cash. Too bad your petty tricks were exposed by a true elite." After that, she boldly clung to the guy's arm and walked into the building. Immediately, the neighbors started gasping, booing, and shouting. The guy looked confused. "Why are they yelling?" My girlfriend said, "I was with him for years. All the neighbors know me. They're probably just shocked to see me with someone else." He asked, "Won't this hurt your reputation?" She shook her head. "It's fine. I'm actually happy. These people have watched me get out of cheap cars for years. They must have looked down on me. But now they've seen me get out of a Porsche with their own eyes." He stroked her head and said tenderly, "Once I find the right moment to get divorced, I'll buy you a Porsche." Hearing that, my girlfriend lit up. She kissed him right there in front of everyone. The neighbors erupted with even louder gasps and murmurs, but she didn't care. While kissing her side piece, she glanced at me with a provocative and disdainful look. Just then, the elevator doors opened. Our landlord stepped out and saw her mid-kiss. His expression turned furious. He shouted, "You slut! I can't believe I rented my place to someone like you." My girlfriend froze. "What did you just call me?" The landlord roared. "I said you're a shameless whore, a skanky homewrecker." She flew into a rage, but the guy quickly held her back and said gently, "Don't bother with people like this. You're moving out anyway. I'll get you into a 5-star hotel tonight." My girlfriend huffed, clearly upset. "They don't know anything and just assume I'm some homewrecker." I was stunned. But she was a homewrecker. Once we were in the elevator, she seemed lost in thought, then suddenly turned to me. "Did you say something to the landlord? Did you tell him what happened?" I replied calmly, "I didn't." She snapped, "Then why did he curse me the moment he saw me? A normal person would at least ask what's going on. But he didn't even ask, he just went off on me." "You must have told him," I answered honestly. "He knew I was planning to propose to you. The bouquet was too big, so he helped me carry it out earlier." She suddenly understood. She glared at me, her eyes filled with venom. "It better be just that. If I find out you told anyone about this, I swear you'll regret it, just like that janitor last time." Just as she said that, a police car pulled up in front of the building. The officer in the driver's seat spotted us and urgently pointed, "Hey, hold up!" But it was too late. The elevator doors slowly closed. My girlfriend quickly pressed the open button, but they didn't reopen. She muttered, "Ugh, it closed. Guess the police will take the next one." The guy held her in his arms, kissed her forehead, and said softly, "It's fine. They can wait for the next elevator." I rolled my eyes. The cops were clearly coming for them. They had just openly admitted on Livestream to hiring someone to hit the janitor with a car. More than 1,000 people were watching, including almost all their coworkers. Bluff or not, if a janitor had actually been hit recently, the company would have already reported it to the police. That's a serious felony. They could be looking at life in prison. Or worse, even the death penalty. As the elevator rose, my girlfriend, completely clueless about the storm heading her way, snuggled into the guy's arms and said happily, "I'm so happy. Once I move out, I can finally text and video call you openly without worrying about anyone finding out." The guy replied, "Baby, just be patient. Once I get the divorce, I'll make sure we can be open too." Right then, the elevator reached our floor. My girlfriend hugged him, beaming. "This is the happiest day of my life." The doors slowly opened. A massive crowd filled the hallway. The corridor, once decorated with balloons and flowers, was now a mess. Everything ripped down, scattered on the floor. My former future in-laws stood at the doorway, their faces pale with fury. My girlfriend, who had been smiling just a moment ago, froze in place. She stared at them, stunned. "Dad? Mom? What are you doing here?" The happy birthday banner still hung from the ceiling too high for anyone to tear down. Panicking, my girlfriend quickly let go of the guy's arm and grabbed mine instead. She stammered, "Oh, you're here to celebrate my birthday. Just now, my boss told me I was getting a raise, and I got excited and hugged him." Don't misunderstand. No one believed her. Everyone was looking at her with cold, disgusted eyes. Suddenly, her father snapped. He grabbed her by the throat and roared, "Celebrate your birthday? I'll celebrate your death anniversary instead." The sudden attack left her speechless. He yanked her out of the elevator, and she still had no idea what was happening. Panicked, she turned to her mother. "Mom!" But that word didn't spark any motherly love. If anything, it pushed her mother over the edge. Trembling, her mom pulled a fruit knife from her pocket and lunged straight for her daughter's throat. The ferocity of the attack shocked everyone. Thankfully, someone managed to grab the mother's arm in time. The knife missed the throat but still sliced deep across my girlfriend's face. Her mother had completely lost control. She screamed, "I gave birth to you. I can kill you too. I'll kill you now, then kill myself." Honestly, her parents had always been incredibly protective. They spoiled her like a princess. Back when we had small arguments, they'd always take her side, telling me not to pick on their daughter. But now, she couldn't even pass for a cursed pearl. All our relatives and friends had seen everything play out: the humiliating car scene, the criminal confession. One side had lost all face. The other was bound for prison. I wouldn't be surprised if her parents had lost their will to live. Even though people managed to hold back her mother, she was in total meltdown, screaming, veins bulging, on the brink of madness. My girlfriend, terrified by her mother's rage, stammered, "Mom, you've got it all wrong. We're not what you think. We're just boss and employee." Then she touched her own face. When she felt the blood, she broke down in tears. "Calm down. You've scarred my face." Even now, she was still lying. Just adding fuel to the fire, the side piece rushed over to smooth things over. "Ma'am, you misunderstood. There's nothing inappropriate between us." But her mother couldn't take another word. With a final gasp, she spat out a mouthful of blood. I stood there, stunned. I always thought that whole spitting blood from rage thing was exaggerated until now. The blood splattered all over the guy's face. Then she collapsed. My girlfriend was paralyzed. She dropped to her knees beside her mom, sobbing, "Mom, what's wrong? Don't scare me like this." Right then, her father walked over and kicked her aside with brutal force. He shouted, "Don't you dare call her mom. Don't call me dad either. We don't have a daughter as shameful as you." The guy, now shaking all over, stammered, "This is all just a misunderstanding. Please, calm down." He hadn't even finished his sentence when someone punched him flat to the floor. I couldn't even tell who threw the punch. At that point, the whole scene had devolved into a full-blown brawl. The hallway was packed. People surrounded the guy, throwing fists and kicks at him. He tried multiple times to crawl toward the elevator, but every time someone dragged him back. Fists slammed into his face. Feet kicked into his ribs. Very soon, the guy was lying there like a battered dog, half dead. And my girlfriend wasn't spared either. After her father kicked her down, he actually grabbed the same fruit knife her mother had used. Emotionally shattered, he said, "Your mother was right. We should kill you, and then we'll end ourselves too. We've lost all dignity. We don't deserve to live." My girlfriend was crawling on the ground, trying desperately to escape her father. She sobbed, "I told you it was just a misunderstanding. Why won't you believe me? Why are you framing innocent people?" I sighed and said, They're not framing you. They saw everything you did." My girlfriend froze and looked at me blankly. "What? What are you talking about?" I said. "To let our friends and family witness our love, the proposal was live-streamed from the beginning. Everything you did was caught on camera." At that moment, a flicker of fear appeared on my girlfriend's face. She said, "Then those co-workers who ran downstairs to see me, and those neighbors who came out?" I replied, "Yes, everyone in your life knows what happened, and the same goes for everyone in his life." My girlfriend lost it. She grabbed my collar and screamed hysterically, "Why didn't you tell me? We loved each other once. Why would you do this to get revenge on me?" I said, "I tried to tell you from the start. I called you and told you not to get in the car, but you told me you were in a meeting." She dropped to her knees, looking up at me blankly. I continued, "Then I tried to warn you again. I offered to come up and help you pack your things, but you didn't listen. You thought I was trying to scam you for money." She swallowed hard and asked, "Couldn't you just have been more direct?" I said, "I wanted to, but then the two of you threatened me. You said you'd pay 200,000 yuans to have my arm broken, and even said you'd hit me with a car. Since you wanted me dead, why would I protect you?" The guy, her side piece, was stunned too. He stuttered, "Then those calls earlier. My wife, the company chairman." I chuckled. "Yeah, I'm guessing your colleagues shared the live stream link with them too. Oh, and about the janitor you said got hit by a car on your orders, I'm betting those cops downstairs are here for you." At that moment, both my girlfriend and the guy looked at each other in stunned silence. But it didn't last long. They were soon swarmed again by the furious crowd. The cheating couple desperately tried to crawl their way out of the mob, but people were too enraged. Every time they tried to escape, someone would grab their legs and drag them back violently. What a joke! Her parents, who should have been the ones most likely to protect her, one had fainted from rage after vomiting blood. The other was still being held back with a knife in hand, barely restrained from committing murder. This was a full-blown tragedy turned farce. My girlfriend was beaten so badly she couldn't even get up. She lay on the ground, sobbing, screaming. To her lover, "What do we do? I'm finished." The guy exploded, shouting, "I'm the one who's finished. My wife knows. The entire company knows. You've ruined me." My girlfriend cried, "You ruined me. My mom vomited blood. I'm going to turn you in. You're the one who had someone run down the janitor. I had nothing to do with it. I'll confess everything and cut a deal." Furious, the guy lunged at her and started choking her. "Then I'll kill you first." He squeezed her neck so hard her eyes bulged, her face turned purple, and she clawed at his arm with both hands, but he had no intention of letting go. His face was twisted with rage, as if killing her could somehow erase his guilt and pin everything on her instead. Unbelievable. Just moments ago, they were cozying up in the elevator, calling this the happiest day of their lives. And now, they turned on each other like animals in a cage. The hallway was filled with her friends and relatives, but no one stepped forward to help her. Instead, everyone wore the same grim expression of satisfaction. Honestly, they probably wanted her to be strangled to death right there. Just then, the elevator that had gone down earlier came back up. The doors opened, and the police officers rushed out. "Stop right there," one of them shouted. They broke up the fight and tackled both of them to the floor, slapping handcuffs on their wrists. One officer said sternly, "You are both under arrest for suspected conspiracy to cause intentional harm." At that moment, both of their faces turned ashen. This whole farce had finally come to an end. My girlfriend's mother was rushed to the hospital. As for those who had been part of the beating, everyone claimed they hadn't touched anyone. Turns out someone had covered the hallway security camera with a cloth earlier, but the most unexpected part, the one rushed into intensive care, wasn't her mother, it was my girlfriend. She had suffered high-level spinal cord damage. She was completely paralyzed from the neck down, all because the guy had choked her so violently that the bones crushed her spinal nerves. This was the most severe type of injury, one of the worst kinds of permanent disability there is. The side piece was already guilty of hiring someone to run over a janitor with a car. With the additional charges stacked up, he was sentenced to the maximum penalty allowed by law, life imprisonment. He didn't even get to keep his assets. Because of the prenup and the fact that he was now a convicted felon, his wife took everything and left him with nothing. As for my ex-girlfriend, she never made it to trial. After all, what was the point? She was already paralyzed from the neck down. She couldn't stand, couldn't sit, All she could do was lie in bed, relying on others for care. She couldn't even control her own bladder or bowels. The worst part, her parents, my former future in-laws, found her too shameful to bring home. They dumped her on the street multiple times. The local community committee had to step in and negotiate with them, but the parents just responded aggressively, "Fine, arrest us. We'd rather go to jail than take care of such a disgrace of a daughter." In the end, my ex-girlfriend was sent to a state-run care facility. No family, no friends. She couldn't walk, couldn't sit up, and would have to live the rest of her life in that painful condition. One time, I couldn't help but go visit her. When I arrived, I saw a caregiver who clearly wasn't very friendly. She had just helped my ex-girlfriend change her clothes when she soiled herself again. The caregiver lost her temper, grabbed her by the hair, and slapped her hard across the face twice. My ex-girlfriend didn't dare say a single word. She just lay there crying. Watching this unfold, I felt it was too cruel. Then someone at the care facility quietly pulled me aside and told me that caregiver is new. She used to work in janitorial services. Got hit by a car not long ago, broke her leg. She got a good compensation payout, but she couldn't stay idle, so she came here as a volunteer. Everyone said the same thing. She's someone who's been through the rain. That's why she holds the umbrella for others. And the moment I heard that, I understood everything. If she wants to hit her, let her. My ex-girlfriend deserved it.